Love of the Invisibles. How Ash Found Violet. 19. Copyrighted 2015 by Nazeli Zellian. Violet froze where she was. Thinking wouldn't help. Refi would know all about it. She had some water and lay on the sofa. She tried to do the breathing exercises, calming herself. She imagined Refi sound asleep and her blocking her thoughts. She put an energy field around her and imagined Ash finding and rescuing her. She felt a presence, a familiar energy, but it was not Ash's and it was not Refi's. It lingered around, but she let it go. Her deep breaths were doing her good. She was calming down and starting to drift to sleep. She was sleeping what felt for hours when she heard her name in her mind. Violet! Violet! It was Amber. She instantly recognized her, sending her a message. Amber? She reflected. Amber did not answer. Amber? Violet called her in her mind. No answer, but there was a kick at the front door and Gumper's frame appeared in front of it. The little nymph had not a chance. I made her lift her energy field. He locked the door and approached her fast. Where were we? Yes, you and I. He grabbed Violet by her shoulders and sniffed her forehead like a dog. Please go away, Violet demanded, but his energy was working fast on her like a tranquilizer. You and I, we belong together, he said. We will give that child of yours to Refi and we will start anew. He started to unbutton his shirt. If it survives after this, of course, he continued by undoing his belt. Violet tried to unleash that energy that Refi was training her for, but she noticed that her energy was fusing with his. He was drawing it out like a magnet. No, she screamed in her mind. Refi! Violet hoped that her uncle would do something or ask someone to help, even if he was far away. No chance of that, Gumper sent her a message. He is busy doing what I'm doing. But her two girls are more compliant. While sending a mental message to Violet, Gumper felt a slap on her face, a kick to his knee, and a bite on his hand as Violet freed herself and ran towards the front door. Feisty! I like it, he exclaimed. He caught up with her fast, lifted her up, and pushed her to the sofa. You want it harsh? I'll give it to you harsh, he said, lowering his pants as he pinned Violet down with the weight of his body. Violet tried to fight, but she was getting conflicting energy. Her chemistry with him was interfering with raising her warrior energy, as she did so easily when communicating with Refi. Oh, I can sense that energy, you tigress, she heard Gumper say in trance. She felt his hands on her hips, working down her pants. Get away from me, you dog, she screamed, but Gumper was aroused and beyond reason. You're mine, he said. No, Violet screamed. You're mine, I said, he repeated, slapping her on her cheek. It was a strong blow that hardly kept Violet conscious. Tears went down her cheeks as Gumper removed all his clothes besides his underpants. He lashed his body over hers, moving her head to one side, and started to suck the skin at her neck. Violet felt the pressure of his body. She tried to pull all her energy together to blow him off of her. She remembered what Refi had asked her, to make someone do something she wanted, and she collected all her energy and delivered a blast to Gumper's body. Ah! He screamed and pulled away. You little tiger! If that's how you want, then I will knock you completely unconscious while I enjoy myself. He raised his hand, curled to a fist, and Violet knew that she would not be able to dodge this one. Suddenly, someone grabbed Gumper from behind and threw him across the room. He stood up and lashed at the man who interrupted his upcoming pleasure. A fight had started between the two, and both sides got their share of blows. Violet put her clothes together and froze at the end of the sofa. The smart thing for her to do was to flee the house before it was sealed with an energy field again. But the safe thing would be to sit put, because the fighting men would unknowingly push her or hurt her, jeopardizing her pregnancy and her well-being. And then she knew this energy that she felt before she went to sleep was his. The man who was trying to save her from Gumper had been in the area for some time. How did you get here? Violet heard Gumper snarl through his teeth. I thought I killed you for good. As you see, the man said, I survived. With that, he gave Gumper a blow to his head, toppling him down. He went down with him, but held Gumper's throat in his hands as Gumper struggled to free himself. I will kill you, you bastard, he said, if you ever come close to her. He screamed, and Violet felt his full energy taking over the room. It was very strong, but somehow it did not harm her, although she felt that this was a harmful negative energy. He was squeezing Gumper's neck with shining violet eyes. Violet eyes! Violet eyes! Violet thought. He turned and looked at her for a moment and noted, yes, violet eyes. Violet was positive she read his mind, instant open mental communication. Gumper tried to take advantage of that disturbance, but he had no chance. Two men burst into the room and stood around the quarreling man. It's not worth it, Norik. Let him go, they said. The violet-eyed man loosened his grip on Gumper as the two men grabbed the losing party under his arms and moved towards the front door. We will make sure he stands trial in front of the council of people, one of the men said. Take care. The girl outside, Norik asked. Taken care of, a little shaken, but she will be all right, the men said. Don't wake her mother, Norik said with stern voice. The men nodded. Fred, can you put an anti-field around my house? The men nodded again. Whatever you have to do it fast, Fred said. You know that. Yes, thanks, said Norik. Violet sat on the sofa, afraid to breathe. He approached her slowly. I mean no harm, he said, but looked at her for a long moment, then kneeled in front of the sofa, raised his hand, and scanned her body without touching her. You're unharmed, he said, but shaken emotionally. Then his eyes widened. You're pregnant? He asked. Violet nodded. Can I? He raised his hand around her stomach. Would you allow me to touch your stomach? She hesitated, but it was too late. He gently moved his fingers around her belly, but she did not feel threatened at all. Is it possible? He said softly. I feel 2 heartbeats. Twins, Violet confirmed. Oh, this complicates things, Norik said. What things? Violet asked. You must come with me. But if you're pregnant... I have to think. He lowered his head and looked like he was thinking, but Violet could not read his thoughts. How can you block your thoughts like that? She thought. I will teach you to do it, and you must learn fast. Norik read her thoughts. I made a decision, he said. We still have to leave. I cannot leave you here. It would be too dangerous for you and the children. I was tuned into your thoughts all evening when you were communicating with Refi, and from the looks of it, he's moving fast. You're here all this time? Just arrived after you finished messaging with Refi. Your energy frightened me. It is just the thing that I was trying to avoid. That's why I thought it would be best if you were away. You mean you had to do something with my abduction? Violet said in disbelief. No. Here, have some water. And afterwards he held his hand. Let's get dressed. He directed her to the bedroom, opened the closet, and took out a black hooded jacket. Wear this, he said. What size are your feet? He looked at her feet. Oh, too small. I was wearing walking boots when I was in Alaska, she said. They're in the other bedroom. I will get them. You go through my closet and take anything warm you might need. Scarf, hat. There's this white scarf that you might like. Oh, and take some short sleeves. Here. He opened the drawer. I have some tops. Look, this one is lighter blue. Oh, it doesn't matter if it is manly, really. I will get you suitable clothes once we are safely out of here. Violet grabbed some clothes and put it in the duffel bag Norik left for her. Got your boots. Don't bend. He knelt and helped her wear it. It was unusual to be pampered the way Norik was taking care of her, like a delicate glass that was in danger of being broken. It's just... I didn't have a chance to be a good brother to you, he said, pausing for a moment. He rose with tears in his eyes and hugged her gently. Violet hugged him back, her tears freely flowing down her cheeks. "Well, well," he said with brotherly care, "it's not good to cry in your condition. Here, let me help you with this jacket." There was a knock on the door. "It's open. Come in, Fred," he said. It looked like Norik and Fred silently communicated with each other, but Violet did not care about what they talked. She finished packing and bent to lift the duffel bag. "I'll do that." Her brother gently tapped at her shoulder. "Is she ready?" He turned to Fred. "Yes, she's in her living room," Fred said. Violet instinctively moved to see who it was, but midway she felt Amber's energy. "Amber, are you all right?" Violet went and hugged her. "I'm fine," Amber said, rubbing her head. "Gumper hit you, didn't he?" Violet said furiously. "I'm fine. Norik put healing energy in me. It is working," Amber said. "I got you some clothes and some new underwear. I brought some last week from town. I think we're the same size. You're just a little taller." "Thank you, Amber. I will miss you," Violet said, giving her another hug. "Miss me?" Amber said, confused. "I'm coming with you." Oh, Violet was relieved. She was not so big on showing emotions since she had to hide them for so long during her life with city people. But she genuinely liked her second cousin. Her sweet, bubbly personality and openness cheered Violet up. "Ready?" They heard Norik's approaching voice. All four of them got out of the house. "Now, Amber, put that shield back around my house as if nothing has happened. Fred, leave that nightlight on." Amber and Fred did as Norik asked. They walked silently to a small distance to a dark truck parked at the end of the road. "Do you feel comfortable sitting in the front or in the back?" Norik asked. "Makes no difference," Violet said, overwhelmed at the attention she was getting from her brother. He opened the back door. "Safer in the back," he communicated, smiling. He helped Violet into the truck and covered her legs with a small plush brown blanket. "Buckle up," he told her.